Did you get the wine?
Yeah.
You ready? Yeah, let's drink.
Welcome to the Buff First Wine podcast, where we unwind over wine.
We said what we said and we stand by it. Settle in.
So, Quayla, how are you today?
I'm good, actually. I'm better than good just because the weather is like really nice. We've been having a really nice weekend. Yeah, I'm in a good mood. I've been outside, not in the hot girl way, but like just outdoors. Like I've been taking my dog for a walk. I've been outside enjoying the weather. So yeah, I feel good. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. I would say the same. I got back from a trip this week. Mm-hmm. So just been trying to relax.
Okay, yeah, finish
and,
that.
Back in the groove of my routine. So it's been going pretty well.
Okay, love to hear it, love to hear it. Yeah, we both are having a good weekend, and hopefully we can have more, but this is Chicago, and the weather will probably change and make us grumpy and mad Midwesterners.
As always.
Right. So what are we drinking today?
So today, we're drinking a 2022 Vouvray La Chateau.
Ooh.
So
it sounds
this is
fancy.
a French wine, and it's a white wine, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I love to pick out wine. It's actually one of my favorite things to do, just to read about it, where it came from, what to expect in terms of the taste and what it offers in terms of the richness as well. So,
Okay. What is the taste for this wine?
so this shiny yellow wine offers richness in pear and almond aroma. And it's best enjoyed with spicy dishes, Indian food, or cheese.
Oh, okay. Well, I have some Indian food at home, some Indian takeout, so I'm definitely going to try to pair that with this to see if they mix together. Okay.
Let me know how that goes.
I will. I'm actually very surprised that you like this wine because it is a little on the sweeter side. For you all out there who don't know, which is all of you, you all don't know, so I'm going to tell you. Wendy enjoys a dry wine, like she is not a sweet girl, and that transcends wine. Like she don't even like sweets. Like if I bake a cake or anything, cookies, it doesn't matter. Like she's just not a sweets person. Funny enough, before we started recording today, she shared something with me that I never knew about her. Can you believe that this bitch who doesn't like sweets enjoys brownies? What? That made me laugh because I'm like, you hate sweets, but you eat brownies?
I actually really like brownies.
Make
it's
it
like
make
the
sense.
one thing that I would actually go out and buy. Like, oh yeah, I want some brownies. And I will fuck some brownies up.
Oh, you're the ever mysterious Wendy. I just love you because you're like, oh, I hate sweets. Don't get. She looks at me in disgust because I'm like, we're so opposite. It's crazy. I love sweets. Like I could eat sweet all day, every day. And she'd be like, really? I put some sugar in my hot cocoa. And she was like, bitch, isn't it already sweet?
Yeah, that was weird.
No.
I was like, I've never seen that before. Like when I drink hot cocoa, I just put milk and I call it a day.
No,
And
baby.
it still tastes so sweet. But anyway, that actually takes us into a fun fact for today. Because that was a fun fact about me. I like brownies, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was trying to do a lot of research. I just like to learn about different things and just understand. And it's like the most random things. I'll just look it up. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to spend 2 hours just researching this topic. So one of the things I was looking up and I found a fun fact is, did you know that the 4 oldest careers in the world are tool makers, hunters, tailoring, and a storyteller?
Really?
Yes. And they all have one thing in common.
And what's that?
They all originated from different parts of Africa.
Pretends to be shocked. Insert shocked sounds into the mic.
Right? I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, obviously, I know a lot of things, came from Africa.
Of
but
course.
to be able to sort of see, like, out of, let's say, 7 top, like 4 or 5 out of them actually came from different parts of Africa, it solidified my belief of, like, every good thing comes from Black people.
Absolutely. That's why we're so magnificent, and that's also why we have a hard time, because people are looking to steal our gifts and not give us credit for those gifts. That's why it's super important to preserve the history of Black people so they know who the originators are, and so that we are able to tell our own stories. So that's a great fact. I'm happy to know it, but I'm not shocked because we're great people.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm super shocked too, but I was like, this is very cool. But then if you think about it, it really makes sense, because the most talented, like, fashionistas or, artists, people that tell stories, they are mostly Black, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, from folk tales, at least growing up for me, I used to hear a lot of folk tales, from, like, older people that would just tell stories, and it'd be the most interesting stories. Because the way they tell it, the richness to it. So it definitely made sense in that aspect, but it was good to actually see it on paper.
For sure.
This is
the facts.
What it is. Exactly.
Right. It's super exciting because you know a little bit about my background, I guess, but I came from a super Black household. So there was no doubt in my mind that all the good shit came from Black people, because I only consumed Black media growing up. Like, I watched, like, Black TV and listen to Black music. Like, a lot of the super popular things in American culture, a lot of that came secondary to what I knew growing up. So, and I like that too. Like, I don't center whiteness and white culture and what they think is popular. So, and that sort of segues into our conversation today.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Sure.
So when you think about, profession, what is your earliest memory of what you wanted to be?
Wow. My earliest memory of what I wanted to be. Wow. This is going to be embarrassing. But my earliest memory of what I wanted to be growing up was definitely like a singer, which is wild because I can hold a note, but I'm nobody's singer. Like, I am nobody's singer. And I definitely wanted to be a singer. I was a MTV babies or VH1 baby back when that shit was good.
Right.
So I was like watching the VH1 Driven, like all of the shows that like documented people's artistry and all of that shit. One in particular was watching Driven, and y'all can literally get on YouTube and watch this episode. It's so good. But Destiny's Child's version, like they have an episode of Driven on VH1 that came out probably in like 2002 or some shit. And it just showed like all of the work that they put in when they was kids to be singers. And I was like, this shit look crazy compared to my reality. But it's so cool. Like I could be Beyonce. I thought I could be Beyonce. And that was before Beyonce was like Beyonce. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the earliest memories of what I wanted to be, definitely. And then as I progressed, as I got older, music has always been a part of me. I have a long history of like music, being a music lover. I never played instruments or anything, but my household was big on music. So that dream progressed to being a writer, like, because I always loved the magazines. So I have a bunch of magazines. My dad was big on music. He was a DJ. And I would like go through all the magazines. And then at the time, the movie Brown Sugar came out. And Sanaa Lathan was the flyest bitch ever to me. I was like, oh, I'm finna be a writer. I'm finna live in New York like she did. Oh my God, I'm finna meet all the people she met. Oh my God, I'm finna fall in love with another music writer. And we gonna live happily ever, ever like this shit is Vibe magazine, okay? Like that was my dream. When I was like, 12 maybe, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a music writer.
That's interesting.
It is.
And I have a little bit of similarity there. And it just made me realize that, like, if you look at Black people all across the diaspora, one thing I always feel like we have in common is, like, the love of music.
Of course.
Because even for me, when I was younger, I was in a choir, like in church. Like I used to sing, I used to do all the like choreography. Like I was that girl.
Crying because I couldn't tell by by who you are now. I would have never known that.
Yes, I was in the choir till I was 14 years old. Actually,
wow. I want to hear you sing something
like,
right now. Go.
Absolutely not. I can't. I think that's the thing about like singing is that other than the fact that like you have to like keep it up, I feel like it's something that it's still always in you, but if you don't nurture it,
it dies.
Yeah, it definitely dies.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's cute.
Yeah. My earliest memory for what I wanted to be was, and this is funny, it was actually a writer.
Oh, I could totally see that too.
And the reason for that is that I used to be a big reader. Ever since I could remember, I always read. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, if I see a book, I'm going to read it.
Okay.
And I was one of those readers where when I started reading novels, I would always have like a dictionary and a notebook with me.
Oh, wow.
So as I was reading any big words that I don't understand or just know what it means, I would write it down and then go back in the dictionary and look it up. So growing up, I was very good in literature and like English because like I took all my notes directly from a dictionary.
Yes.
So as I think about like, okay, what would be that profession be, right? Where I'm like, what would I have been from what I am today, obviously? I think it would have been a writer. I think that was like the first of like, okay, I could do this.
Yeah.
But that was really like from reading. And I actually started writing a book. I wrote my first book. I think I was like 11 or like 10 to 11.
That is interesting.
I had gotten my dad bought me my laptop. And I was so happy.
Okay.
So when I got the laptop, I didn't have like internet on it. So like I would try to, like do different things. And I had the Word document on it. So I would open that up and I would just write. And I wrote 3 chapters and then I gave up on that dream.
Wow. Oh my God.
Because I realized how hard it was.
A dream deferred. I'm crying.
Yes.
That's super cute. But you know what? I'm not surprised by any of that. You being a writer totally makes sense when I think about just like all that I've known of you so far. Like, that makes sense. Like,
Really?
yeah, because I feel like writers are like super intelligent and they are also like very perceptive, which you are. I'm like, yeah, that could totally be you. I totally see that. That's cute. If you haven't caught our drift yet, today we are talking a lot about careers and how we want to show up in our careers. And what is the career that got away? You know how there's a lot of talk about dating and all that bullshit. The ex that got away, I don't believe in that. But I do believe in a career that got away. So we're going to talk a lot about careers today. And that takes me into my question for you, Wendy. I'm so excited to hear about this. So if you didn't catch our episode last week, Wendy was about to take off to go to Afrotech, and this is the week after. So Wendy, how was Afrotech, girl? Tell me everything. I need the tea. Did you see Issa Rae? Did you tell her her smile was pretty? I want to hear everything.
Afrotech was good. When I first got to Austin, I was a little bit disappointed because the weather was shit. And coming from Chicago, I was like, I'm getting away because of the weather. And then I got there and it was cold as shit. So I already had a bad first impression of what was going to, happen. But it got better. The first day, not a lot happened on that day just because, you were registering and getting your badge. The second day was really where things started happening.
Okay.
And I think the most memorable thing about Afrotech is just seeing all these beautiful Black people. It was so motivating, honestly.
I'm sure.
Just seeing all of these professionals from different worlds. I met people that flew in from London.
Wow.
I met people that flew in from Germany. So many different people that actually flew in for this conference. Mm-hmm. And they were legends in their fields.
Right.
They knew what they were saying. There were a lot of different talk that I had attended just to really understand, okay, what is really going on out there? And one thing that I really like about Afrotech was how there was something for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like talks for entrepreneurship, for like artificial intelligence, just really anything that you're interested in. So I
Okay.
really like that. I was very sad I didn't get to see Issa. I tried
Oh my
to,
God.
but that line, Issa, people love you. I love you. We love you.
Girl.
And it was just so evident.
Okay, let me just chime in for 2 seconds. We need an episode on Issa Rae alone because I would say so much. Like, I am obsessed with her. Like, she is so amazing to me. Like, yeah. I was gonna like go on a tangent, but I just decided to just keep it at that. Like, she
Keep it
is
cute.
so amazing
Keep it
to
cute.
me. Like, I'm gonna keep it cute. Like, we could talk about Issa another day, but continue.
Yeah, so I was sad I didn't get to see her. I really wanted to wait, but I had been wearing heels all day, which was a very bad idea.
Baby, them shoes.
I left my hotel at like 10:30, 11, wearing this tiny ass heels. And I was walking about like the whole conference, which the thing about the conference is that it was in different places. So there are places you have to walk like 7 minutes away. So I did a lot of walking. And the time to see her was a little later in the evening. And girl, when I tell you my feet was crying at that point, I was like, I can
They
do
was
this.
humming.
I can wait. I can see her. But
my
as soon
God.
as that time hit, you know, like when you just, your brain
Yeah.
just like shuts off and you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like there's literally no pep talk I could have given to myself.
That would have pulled you
That
through
would
waiting.
have, like I had to get in that elevator and go
Go.
home.
Yeah.
And I took the longest nap just because of that, because my feet was on fire. So I was sad I didn't get to see Issa.
Girl,
that
I'm-
was going to be one of like the highlights of Afrotech for me.
Yes.
But hey, I feel like there will definitely be opportunities to
For
see her
sure,
later. But overall, Afrotech experience, it was really nice. And one thing I love about Black people is that even though a lot of it was professional, we still partied. There was hella parties.
Of course, you know we finna turn up. And then you got all the Black professionals in one spot.
Oh,
Come on.
everywhere. Like, I think every single day I was getting home at like 3 a.m.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
It was great. It was great. So I feel like I came back very feeling really good because I got the best of both worlds. I got professionally stimulated in my
Yeah.
career, but then I also got very lit, which
Yeah.
was really nice. So
Awesome. Oh my gosh. And that's like, I was looking at all the promotion around Afrotech and I was like, wow, like this looks beautiful. It was like Coachella for professionals. And I love that.
Exactly.
Like, I love that for us. And it was Black. And it's just like a
it
little
was
bit
blackity black.
blackety black. And that's what's up. Like, we need our own stuff, no shade. But one thing that I find interesting about Afrotech, I love how the tech industry has like, it's sort of a little club in its own way. And, you know, like you have companies that have been around forever, but they aren't considered tech. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the tech industry, I want to say around like 2015-ish, once it made that shift and everybody got kitchens and stocked their fridge and beer on tap. Like it was a new renaissance of like what tech looked like.
Yeah, for startups, for sure.
Yeah, for tech
Yeah.
startups, and they started to really like pour into their employees. That they just, it's an illusion. Like they have tried to make it appear as if they are like really supporting the employees by giving us all these perks. And I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy the perks. I enjoyed the perks, but at the same time, I can't wait until we are in a world where there is Afrotech type of events for all the fields. So Black people can, you know, like have conferences and talk to people in their field and network and get ahead.
Yeah.
So it's not limited just to
Just
tech,
to tech.
you know?
No, I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. I think
That would be
tech
great.
has been like the first breakthrough
For sure.
where
Black professionals.
for Black professionals to really feel like, okay, we can hold our own here and
Yes.
you know create our own community.
For
so
sure.
I think that's been really, it was very nice to see for sure.
It's very nice to see and I love it, and like being a part of the tech industry, like I enjoy it. I do want to go to Afrotech once, so hopefully I'll go next year. But as far as everything that I saw, I was like, wow, that shit looks so lit. Everybody is turning up, and we used a professional event to still be niggas. And I love that.
Exactly. It was, listen.
I love that.
It was just beautiful because why is Genuine performing?
Nigga,
at
my
Afrotech?
pony?
You know what I mean? It was like an after party and everything. It was just beautiful. I loved it.
Crying. That nigga got booked for Afrotech. He's
Yes.
like, what is this? He don't even care what
Rick
his old
Ross
ass.
performed.
That's all.
Yeah.
Well, Rick Ross, I'm not going to say that. Genuine seems a bit more unfit than Rick Ross. Rick Ross has invested a lot.
He's invested for
He's
sure.
a big investor, so I could
Yeah.
see him being there. Issa Rae is a no-brainer. Like, she's the Oprah of this shit for us millennials.
She's our Oprah
Yeah.
for the millennials for sure.
Yeah, so she got her hand in everything from tech to hair to like.
And that's funny because every single like black girl that I met, and you have little talks, you wait in a line and everything. The first thing we say about it, we say to each other is like, "Oh, so what are you excited to see?" Every single person's like, I'm excited to see Issa. It was so beautiful.
It's
and I was
so beautiful. Seeing her win is like one of my most favorite things ever. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, so yeah, she's awesome.
She's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so we talked a bit about what we wanted to be when we grew up, and ta-da, we're grown now. So now let's talk a little bit about now that we're in our careers and we like it, we're enjoying it, allegedly, we're enjoying it. Mm-hmm. What is the career that got away? Like, I'm not gonna say we're seasoned, but we're not entry level. We're like mid to senior in our careers right now. So we got some skin in the game. What is the career that got away? Now that you have some time to reflect on like your career path, what is something that you look back on and be like, God damn, I could have been doing that. I could have been getting to a different type of bag.
Yeah, that's interesting because I feel like I've always had the same sort of thought of like what I wanted to be growing up because I talked about wanting to be a writer. And when I was trying to, get into the university and like picking a major and everything, I was trying to find things that was like in the business lane, not because I really give a shit about business, but I knew that I didn't want to major that wasn't going to make me money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So that was a very big part of my decision, honestly, of like, okay, what would I want to do? But I would say the career that got away from me would be writing. I really wanted to be a writer. And even when I was in college, I tried to get like an English minor, like a minor in English. But my advisor, whatever the fuck they call them, was like,
horrible
people. You're going to need one more semester in this school to get an English minor. And knowing 4 years in a university, I absolutely could not take one more day. Like, there was absolutely no way that I would have waited. Listen, I told him, hold that minor. I'm gonna graduate with what I have, and I don't give a shit. Okay? I can always read my book. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, but I always wondered, like, what if I did that? What if I actually, either got the minor or actually majored in English? Like, what would that have looked like? Because my favorite part of college for me was actually my English classes. I took a lot of poetry classes. I took a lot of like literature classes.
Wow, okay.
Where I would just like, every time they're like, write, like they'll give you a book and they're like, write about this book or something. That was always the first assignment that I would do because I really enjoyed it. Like, it was something that just it didn't feel like a chore to me.
Yeah, everything else
felt like a chore.
Right.
But that didn't feel like a
That's
chore.
That's so important.
Yeah, it felt very natural, and I just really enjoyed it. And even I got a lot of compliments from my teachers for that, of like, and that's actually why I went to my counselor to ask about the English major, because one of my professors was telling me, they're like, you should do this.
That's nice.
But it didn't end up working out. But I always thought, like, what would life be like? I definitely would not have as much money as I do.
Of course not.
Because
yeah.
they don't make shit.
Right.
And it takes a long time to, actually
get to that level.
Get to that level and make something from it. So am I happy with what I chose? I am, because I actually do like it. Mm-hmm. But it was accidental. Let's put it that way.
You stumbled into this career.
I stumbled into the career.
I love it. I mean, that's how we go through life, just stumbling into success and stumbling into failure. Sometimes running into failure, but hey, we'll talk about that later. But what about me? So I got to go back a little bit. Ironically enough, this is a huge, huge curveball. Mm-hmm. But in high school, I took classes to be a dentist. Which is random as fuck, but I'm gonna tell you.
That is very random.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you why I brought that up. So I took classes to be a dentist, and my aunt was really pushing me to be a dentist. So I was like, okay, I'll try this out. I went to a dental class my senior year, and I interned at a dentist's office, and I was like, this shit is trash. So I immediately, mind you, that was maybe, I did that for 2 months before I graduated. Mm-hmm. So I was making a pivot. Right. I had already gotten accepted in school, and I'm like, I ain't doing that dentist shit no more. So let me figure out what the fuck. Let me figure out what the fuck about to happen in the next 4 months when I go to college. So I just randomly picked journalism. Like, okay, let me go back to journalism. Let me go back to my first love and be a writer in magazines. So my first year of school, and mind you, my first year of college was some bullshit. But because my first year of college was bullshit, I was just going through the motions. And then I woke up my second year of college. And I was like, journalists don't make no fucking money. What I'm finna do? Work at the news station? I can't. I changed my major again my sophomore year. I changed my major. And then I changed it to telecommunications, marketing. So I worked in marketing, and I was half-assing it. I liked it, but it'll do, type shit. And got out of school, got the jobs that I got, and it obviously was not in marketing. And now I'm in tech, and I like being in tech. That's where the money is. But the career that got away from me is marketing. I'm good. I'm just good at it. I really, really, really enjoy it. When I am watching TV or watching commercials and just seeing how people try to convey their messages of their products, I be looking at them, I'm like, y'all need me on the team because this shit is whack. This is horrible. I
definitely see a lot of commercials where it's
what are you doing?
What are you thinking?
Right, exactly. And it's something that I have a knack for that is so weird, kind of. There's no reason why I should be interested in this. I'm just am. And I really like it. I really have vision for it. With marketing, you have to be creative, but you also have to be concise. You have to be a lot of things. And now it's taken new form because of social media. So yeah, if I had my way, the career that got away from me is some sort of marketing consulting. I would want to do that. Have my own agency. Trust me, I have mad journals at home. Okay, what's going on these next 5 years? Because we need to be working toward this agency. And I
love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to be that way more.
What do you mean?
I'm very much in the Newman kind of person.
Yeah.
I really don't be giving a shit about what's going to happen. I mean, okay, don't let me put it that way. I care.
Yeah, clear it up.
I care about...
Yeah, you care.
Yeah, I care about what's going to happen.
Disclaimer. Wendy is very, don't get it twisted. She's very focused. She cares a lot. And
I do. I guess what I was trying to say is so for example, you said you have a journal, right?
Yeah.
A lot of things that I think about of okay, what I'm going to do is in my head.
Internal. Yeah.
It's internal. So it's something that I know it at the back of my mind of okay, this is what I'm trying to achieve. But I think it will be more productive and beneficial for me to actually be able to document it and be able to go back,
and refer to it.
And refer to it.
Absolutely.
And see how far I've come. Because sometimes I think about that of I've come far, but because I don't do a very good job in documenting and saying okay, this is where I was 3 or 4 years ago, sometimes it's hard for me to picture how far I've come. So I was just saying it would, that's something I can emulate of okay, this is a good practice.
It's crazy. Have one little quick story time, and I know my story times aren't quick, so I'll really make it quick. But I have a journal. And before I got to Chicago, I was living somewhere else. and I wrote what I need my future to look like in Chicago. And I'm like, I need to work at a company like such and such. I need to make this much money. I need to have an apartment in this area. I need to do this, this, this. And then I moved to Chicago, maybe like 2 years after I had wrote that journal entry. I always date my journal entries, and I always add a song to the end of them.
Oh, a song.
Yeah, like for my mood.
That's
like,
new.
Yeah, it is. I'm so corny, but it is what it is. I own
but
it.
like that's you. And that's very unique.
Yeah, I always add like a song or something like that mirrors whatever mood I'm in when I wrote it. The entry though, to finish that thought, I got to Chicago and I randomly was like looking back on the entry, and then I went back in there and like checked all that shit off because it happened or it exceeded what I wrote. It was like make X amount of money, and I probably made like 10 or 15,000 more than that, or like live in this apartment and da da da.
Look
so
at
like,
you,
girl, that was back in the day. No, I'm just kidding. Give me my flowers.
Yes, take your flowers.
Yeah, it's
Take
hard
your
for
flowers.
me, but I'm
No, I
learning
think
to-
that's definitely something that I've learned from you. One thing about Quayla is that she's very good in celebrating success. You're very good at celebrating, no matter how little it is. I think that's something you've taught me, because one of the distinct memory I have about that is we went to Hawaii for your birthday, and I was in this job interview. I didn't even get the job yet. I had the final interview after your trip.
Serious.
And I was like, oh yeah, I have this final interview.
Pause.
Then we went.
Let me say one thing. Sorry, not to cut you off, but I need y'all to understand what type of bitch we're dealing with when it comes to Wendy. We were in Hawaii. It was beautiful. She left the trip early to prepare for this interview. That's what type of thorough bitch we're
I
dealing
have
with.
an excuse for that. The only reason that I left was because I was supposed to get back to Chicago at, I think, like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And my interview started at 8 a.m. and it was a 4-hour interview.
You needed time.
And I was like, listen, I can't be fucking around. But anyway, the point I was going to make was that I didn't even get the job yet. And I remember us going to dinner, and you told the waiter, you were like, oh yeah, we're celebrating today. And it was like, oh, what are you celebrating? It was like, oh, she just got a new job. And I was like, I didn't get the job yet. I still have a fine. You were like, no, you're gonna get it. And I think that was just a very nice thing for you to do for me. But it also helped me learn, to celebrate every little thing, every little success, and it's a way of manifesting too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, life is hard. And it's hard for everybody. Some people try to measure their heart against somebody else's, and it's like, I don't give a shit, because it's hard for everybody.
Yeah.
So just celebrate the moments when you do have time to celebrate. Like, that's super important for me. I don't care. Like, I'm going to celebrate everything.
I love it.
And it is what it is.
I love it.
I enjoy that.
No, I think that's a very interesting thing, just in terms of like how life takes you to different places.
Yeah.
Because never, ever did I even think I was going to end up in tech. Like I said, it was very accidental. I was looking for the major that had nothing to do with accounting, nothing to do with finance, nothing to do with science. Like, I wanted no part. And guess what? I got a Bachelor of Science.
And somehow because
I was so bad in science in high school. Like, I was a kind of student that I was good at everything, but when it came to biology, physics, chemistry, I was
not for you, huh?
No. I remember taking my final exam in high school, and it was a biology exam, and I was in that exam hall crying in my heart because I knew I was going to fail.
Wow.
I knew I was going to fail. Yes, because I was like, yeah, this is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I got home, and immediately I got home, I called my mom and I sat her down. I was like, Mom,
let me tell you now.
Let me tell you, that exam I wrote today,
it kicked my ass.
Don't expect anything from it. Expect nothing from me. And she was like, oh, and that's what I love about my mom. She was like, oh, I know, like, science is not your strong suit. I was like, great. Let's forget about it.
That's adorable. That is so adorable.
So the irony of me getting a Bachelor of Science, which is interesting. So, but it's just been a journey, right? And I definitely think about what, like I said, like what life would have been like, maybe I would still, be rich. You never know.
I wish y'all could see my face because she said maybe I would still be rich. I'm not
Yeah,
going
like if I did like if I got like an English major.
Oh,
Right.
okay, I see what you're saying. I was about to say, I thought she was trying to imply that she's not rich now, and I'm like, bitch, cut the shit.
I'm not rich.
Girl, boo. I see what you were saying. You were saying maybe you would still be rich if you were a writer. Okay, well, now that I know that about you, I'm definitely holding you accountable to be a writer, because now that you have put that out into the world so I can hear it,
Right.
it makes sense. And
It
you
makes
should be a
sense.
writer, and you should write.
Okay, so that's funny. So I took a personality test yesterday.
Why? Tell me why.
Okay, I'll tell you why. I was on a virtual date with my boyfriend, and that was one of
adorable.
the activity that he had planned for us to take, like a personality test, and then we discuss it. So on my personality test, well, my personality apparently is an observer and an investigator. So a kind of person that craves knowledge and learning and reading. And I was like, you know what? That really describes me. Like,
does.
I'm the type of bitch that if I see just a glimpse of something, my curiosity just like immediately peaks, and I would research every single thing about that topic until I understand it. Now, is it important? Is it going to benefit me
Maybe
anyway
not.
in life? Absolutely not.
No.
But I'm very satisfied having that knowledge, and randomly, maybe 10 years later, someone's going to say something about
and
it,
then
and I have something to say.
Absolutely.
That's just who I am.
Right. And you know what? That makes it all worth it. I don't give a shit if the conversation comes 10 years after you acquire the knowledge.
Exactly.
Like, I love that. That's so hilarious. And it's you know what's funny? I just watched, don't judge me, y'all. Don't judge me. Because I can't fight.
I might.
I can fight, though. So don't judge me. But I just watched White Men Can't Jump for the first time yesterday.
I'm judging you.
Okay, shut the fuck up.
I'm judging
What did I say?
I'm judging
What did I just say?
For the first time?
Okay, anyway.
Okay, well, I can't say too much because I've only seen it once.
Okay, whatever. But anyway, I just watched that movie, and you sound just like fucking Gloria, who wanted to be on Jeopardy because she knew all of the knowledge, and she was like, "You gonna get me on that show? Get me on that show." That's
I used
you.
to watch Jeopardy like that. Like I would.
You wanted
like,
to be on it?
Yes, give me for 300.
I'm
and
crying.
then
I'm crying. That's adorable, though. It's so cute.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, well, we had a nice conversation about careers. It was very cute. And as we wind down today, we are going to keep it on topic and discuss a little bit about if we had the chance to do it over, what would we do differently, and what are we doing now to take control in our careers so that we can have more time to ourselves as well as time to get that bag and create some real financial freedom for ourselves.
Okay, this is very vain, but the only reason I wouldn't do anything differently is that I like making money.
You can.
So, and I don't know what's gonna happen if I did whatever career I wanted to do before.
Yeah.
I might not be making that much. I might be a broke ass
You didn't want to take those odds. You didn't want to.
20s. I don't want to take that chance.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing I would have done differently was be more prepared. I think like coming out of college, I wasn't a very serious student, which you might not believe, but I wasn't very serious.
I don't.
My 4 years of college was just bullshitting every single day. I know how I graduated, but I don't really know. So I think the one thing I would have done differently, because I think every moment counts, and that's one thing that I realized of like,
Yes.
the more you build, no matter how little, I would have tried to do a little bit more. Not like be so like, oh, like career as a 21-year-old.
Right.
But at least put in a little bit more effort, I think. It's something that I would have done differently. So yeah, that's definitely what I would have done different. And in terms of like how I'm taking control of my career currently, that's an interesting question, because that's something I've actually been thinking a lot about. And I've sort of been trying to figure out like, what does that mean for me? As now I'm not really entry level anymore, and now I'm climbing up the professional ladder in a way. And one thing that I've realized is having a mentor is very, very, very important. Having someone that can advocate for you in a room that you're not.
Yeah.
Having someone that can sort of like guide you in a way to becoming a better version of yourself professionally is something that I've started to take seriously. And for me, being the kind of person that I am, I like natural relationships. Like, I'm not the kind of person that can pursue a relationship where it's like, I want only something from you.
Right.
Like, I have to feel some sort of connection to you. So one thing I've been trying to do differently is sort of like build natural, genuine connections with leaders that I admire, just so I can see how they do things. Right. And understand, you know, what are they doing while...
Where you're headed.
You know, where's their head at exactly. Yeah. And, like, what can I benefit from it as well?
Right, right. And it's also a mirror into yourself to see, like, okay, as I observe their triumphs and their trials, how would I do it differently when I'm given the chance so that I can perfect what I'm seeing and be a better version of them? Yeah. That's cute. I like that.
The question that you asked, I'm not going to repeat it, but your turn.
Okay, so you're posing it back to me?
Exactly.
Okay, so the question was, just to repeat it for the audience, we have the chance to do something differently in our careers, what would we do? And how are we taking control of our career currently? So I don't know, like I want to say that I would take it more seriously. But that's not fair to myself. Being 18 years old, you don't know what you want to do when you go to college.
100%.
So
it's a lot of pressure.
Right.
So,
you don't know what you want to do when you go to college when you're 18. So it's like, I can't take seriously what I don't know yet. I don't want to be hard on myself in that sense to say like, oh, I should have took shit seriously. Not so much. But what I will say that I would have done differently is that I just would have focused on me more. When I was in college, my first year, I had a boyfriend that wasn't shit. Like that, like I ain't even gonna go into detail.
We gotta unpack that at some point. Not right now, but we gonna unpack that.
Well, anyway, what I'm trying to say is that my first year of college, I was too busy having a boyfriend that I didn't even need to have. That I didn't spend the time getting to know all the people that I should have got to know on a new campus, or getting in social groups that I should have gotten in, or getting to know what the fuck I wanted to do. You know what I mean? So that's why I went into college thinking I wanted to do journalism because I had to pick some last minute career. I was like, okay, I'll just do marketing. I'll stick to this, whatever. What is marketing anyway? Who cares? Like that was my whole thought process. And then I got serious about it because it's like, okay, I got to graduate, right? And yeah, so I would have done that differently. How I'm taking control of my career now this is such an interesting question coming at the time that it is, because now I've been on this grind. When I say grind, bitch, I want you to think of the fucking railroad tracks. Whatever is under the railroad tracks, that's the grind that I've been on for the past like year and a half. So right now, I'm taking control of my career by being true to myself and to my interests, and just like leaning into the fact that, bitch, what you really good at is marketing. So just do that. Like, whenever you have the opportunity to help someone, help. And see, like, where that goes. Like, try to put yourself in positions of being able to do something with this in a real way. So that way, maybe not now, but maybe in a couple years, or in a year from now, or 6 months from now, or maybe tomorrow, you know, hey, I could be doing that full time and getting paid what I deserve to get paid, because this tech grind right now is crazy. They laying people off left and right. And they being so stingy with the interview. Like in the pandemic, you could get that money up off their ass quick in the pandemic. But now they being so stingy with that money, like they not throwing shit.
Because they know, like right now is like the employer's market and not the employee's market.
You gotta beg, you gotta beg, borrow, and steal for the money right now. And it's just like, yo, you don't understand the fight that candidates are going through right now. It's like, I'm liable to cuss you out at any second. So I'm gonna tell you what the fuck number I need to get in the door. And if you're not coming with that number, then fuck off.
Fuck off.
Like, quit playing with
Seriously.
me. Because you don't understand. They're trying to, like, strong arm candidates by making them go back to office and paying them, like, they doing all these layoffs so that they can get people in the door and pay them, like, $20 to $30 less than what they paid the pandemic people. And it's like, baby, the cat's out the bag. We knew what the number was. So now we not coming in for no less than that. It's been interesting. But yeah, so that's how I'm taking control now, is just trying to lean into doing more with marketing, and hopefully that'll like open other doors where I can like be
I
my
think
own
it
boss.
will, especially because you're very, very good at it. Quayla is good at anything, aesthetics, social media, thinking through like what would people want to see and like what would people engage in. So I definitely think you should lean into it.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, and hopefully something will happen of it. And I feel confident in it because I know, like, I see people and I'll be like, you need me because I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. But
I
this
love
shit
the
is
confidence.
awful. Oh yeah, you know I'm gonna
love
have
the
that. Even if I ain't got $1 to my name, I'm gonna have that confidence.
And really, that's what, like, confidence will get you into any room, okay? That's our advice for today.
Yeah.
Confidence will get you into
Any room.
any room.
You need to have the confidence of a white guy who had a trust fund because their confidence is
and
through the
wasn't a
roof.
fraternity.
Yeah, pink polo and all. Like,
It's crazy. And they're crazy with it, too. They're just like, yeah, I deserve this.
right. And that's why we have a stare off in these interviews because I say my price. And they look at me and they be like, you for real? And I'm like, yeah, because if you was sitting here, you would ask for that and it would be no problem.
Right.
It would be no problem. If he asked for the number I asked for, they would be like, sure, you can get it and a company car. What else do you need? Do you need an assistant? But when I ask for it, they be like, oof, I don't know.
We don't know about
We don't know
it.
if it's in the budget.